Fine. So in the last session, what we did, we downloaded the rapid implementation sheet from the instance itself, and we prepared with the data. We generated a file and we imported a file into the instance. Okay. In the end of the session, in the last session, we could see that the submission what we did, it ended with error. So I addressed there was some that file got corrupted and all. That is the reason it's ended with some error. So what we'll do is I just have another sheet. We'll proceed with that sheet. So we discussed about the complete sheet preparation, how it works and all. Now we'll just, and again other reason I could notice is one thing is the definition already with the same name it's existed in that environment, and there was some issue with the sheet also. I'm going to use another sheet, but now we don't need to discuss detail level what we discussed in the last session. So just quickly we'll go on to modify this, and I'll just change the names. We'll use the different names and we'll proceed with that. What we'll do is I'll say RapidImplementation INC. I'll use this name and we'll go with the segments. This would be fine. Since we are changing the name, the same will apply for everything. This is the one which we used for other batch for testing. So wherever we have Google, just I'm replacing with the RapidImplementation INC. So here, so these are the companies we have. I'll just replace with the Google RapidImplementation INC. Before that, company names, yes, the company names you can keep as is, also no issues, but let's update this also. Just say I'm just preparing this sheet again. Instead of preparing from the scratch whatever already we prepared with a different name, I'm just modifying. Here also you can make the change. Fine, the departments, the natural accounts, we know we copied from the same sheet, right? So here just in this sheet I just included one segment called as projects and financial sequence. So done. So once you prepare with the data, what we have to do? We have to validate it. On validate. So validation successful, no errors found. Now what is the next step? We have to generate the files. One is for chart of accounts, the other sheet for ledger, LE and BU definition, right? So click on generate chart of accounts file. So save that file to specific path. So RI rapid implementation, the folder name just I created, you can save into this folder and generate file for ledger, LE and BU data. The name we given as RapidImplementation INC. Done. So now the first step is we have to load this chart of accounts file. We'll just go and do it. So this is the instance which we are using, new pod. That's the username we have. Now just go to FSM.
Lakshman, the chart of accounts what you created didn't have project segment. Are you going to modify that or?
Now we have the project segment. It's all
okay.
All about we have to understand how to create it, right? Doesn't matter which I included or you are going to include, right? We have 4 segments. That's all.
Okay. No, I did not notice the 4 segment. Somehow I thought we have 3 segments one.
Yeah. So this is the one we have. Fine. The 4 segments we have in this. So just click on search task and search for rapid term. So here is the task list called as define common financial configuration for rapid implementation. These points, these navigations already we discussed in the last session. Now what we have to do is by using this link, normally we download that sheet already we downloaded, we prepared with the data, we validated and we generated files. Now first we have to upload chart of accounts. That is the first step. Once
Lakshman, do we have to download the sheet every time we have to upload, or we can save the sheet and reuse it?
every time, why we have to upload? One time, right?
Okay.
It's not a transaction. So it's not, sheet is not really a transaction. Setup. One time we do setups, right? So just one time
Thank
we
you.
download, one time we prepare, one time we submit, then definitions will be ready. We no need to use it again until unless we are going to have other environment to do the same setups. For other environment also you want to just repeat that, you can use the same sheet. Again, you no need to prepare it. Anyway, environment is going to be different, so the data would be unique, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Lakshman, let's say the controller of the company did not give the like one range of account for all the income and expense account. They give it 2 weeks later. So when we do the account segment incremental load,
Yes,
do we have to delete the previous data, or we can still leave the old data and upload it?
you can just keep the same sheet, the same data, and you can add it. In that case, system will verify which data is exist, rest it will be adding. Otherwise, you can keep the new data and you can load into that by specifying that pay rate hierarchy and the child value specification. You can keep
Okay, but even if it
previous
its
data.
system will find it out that
Yes.
it exists already.
Yes, it will validate, it will verify, accordingly it will take it. Yes, fine. Now we'll go and upload the chart of accounts file. So just click on upload chart of accounts and just click on browse. Just 1 second. Just click on browse. So where we have our files, we have in RI folder. So this file we have to submit, chart of accounts. Then click on submit. Say OK. Now which data this file will load into the system. So before system will complete this job, we'll discuss those points. What it is, this file is going to do, COA file. So okay, this file will create value sets, it will create COA structure including segments and the segment label assignments, and it will create COA structure instance, and it will perform the deployment. Okay, now the file which we submitted, that will create all these, and here once the deployment is done, it will add segment values to respective value set. This is a sequence system will follow. Okay, it will add the segment values to respective value sets. So these are the tasks system will perform in this sequence by following this. First it will create the value sets, and it will create the chart of account structure and instance deployment, and it will create the values. How it will create the value set, what name it will take? It will take the combination of the name what we given. What the name we given? We given ERP3 INC. The combination of the name which we given, that ERP3 INC plus segment name. With this combination, it will create value set name. When we talk about chart of accounts, it will create the chart of accounts with this ERP3 INC name only. Instance also it will create with ERP3 INC, because that is the name we given within this spreadsheet, ERP3 INC. This is the name it will use. And when it creates segments, it will create, so ERP3 INC company, department, account and project. With this combination, this name and segment combination, automatically will create the unique value sets. And deployment it will do, and values however we have within that spreadsheet, accordingly it will load. Fine, we'll go and verify the status. Just click on refresh. Okay, you could notice this is the request system submitted. Maintain value sets means it created value sets and created hierarchy as per the sheet what we have. Now we'll go and verify one by one.
Last one.
Yep.
Where would be the instance information in your given file?
Why instance information is required in the file?
You mentioned the file which you created has instance specific information.
No,
and we have to download and upload.
No. See,
I'm just trying to understand why can't we use your file to.
1 second. It's not instance specific. It's not instance specific. So in every instance, file is available if you are using the instance called as release 12. Okay, you download the file from any release 12 environment and you can use for any release 12 instance. And if it is 13, use 13. Okay, that you can treat that is a version specific. Sometimes there could be some compatibility issues if you use the release 11 spreadsheet for release 12 or 12 spreadsheet for release 13. There could be some, but sometimes it works. So it's not instance specific. Normally you have to treat it as a version specific, but sometimes that also not applicable. Okay.
I was just trying to understand why can't I take your file and change whatever I want to.
Yes, you can use it. That's what I'm trying to say now.
Okay, good.
You take this file, you can use for your client instance. It will work if your client instance is on the same version. Sometimes 12 file also, release 12 instance file also you can use for 13.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Can you, when you load today's
I'll share it with
video file, share it please. Yeah,
this file also I'll place in the Google Drive.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll do that. You can change the names, but when you are changing the names, please change LE related information also, not only just this name. So if you want to use the same file your practice, change name here. The rest here you don't need to change anything. If you want to change, you can change it. Otherwise, normally not required. You have to change this name if you are going to practice based on this file. And business unit anyway names you have to change. And here all this information. So companies.
Sure. Thanks.
No. Just we'll discuss. It may be useful for someone else. So company names you don't need to change because those will be part of value sets. So that information not required. For sure, you have to change the value legal entity name because legal entity name should be unique. And legal entity identifier you have to change. Country you don't need to change. The address line not required. And this information. Registration number and reporting unit registration number. These two you have to change. Rest you don't need to change anything. So this is how you can do the required modifications. Okay, this sheet you can use with a different name to load into the targeted environment. Done. Fine. Now we'll
Lakshman.
Yeah. Please.
Lakshman, if when we download, the chart of the template will not have how many segments we have in the accounting key flex will. So if we decide 6 segments, let's say we put intercompany, will it create a separate tab on its own, or we have to go and create the tab?
You are asking this question today. I'm really sorry. So we discussed very clearly in the last session. How we created additional segments. I
told you, Lakshman, I'm sorry to say that, but last time also you pointed it out, and I did say that my internet connection was off for a few minutes when you pointed this out.
One point, I cannot remember what happened in your case in the last session. So just
okay, I'll not ask question, Lakshman. Okay.
Yeah, that's your interest. Okay. So see, because whatever we done, just that's what I'm telling you as we did. That's it. otherwise no intention. So if all are okay to just listen that points again and again, I don't have an issue. Fine. So this is a tab we have to use to add the segments. Here we add the segments and we discuss all those points. So again, repeating the things required sometimes, but not all the times. Fine. Fine. So we just done with that. So now we'll go and verify one by one. So these are the points we have here. First we'll go and verify the value sets. So go to the instance. So we have a task, right? We have a task called as manage chart of account value sets. Go to the task. So we don't need to type manage, right? Chart of accounts value sets. So here we have to find our value sets. We have 4 segments, so system should create 4 value sets. You search with the term called as, say, company ERP3 INC. Search. Just it's ERP INC, right? ERP. Fine. So company ERP3 INC. So better you can type with the search criteria. Fine, no issues. We'll go one by one. So you could see the value set which is created by system. Company ERP3 INC. You can just open that. You can click on edit. How system created this value set, you can notice. Taken that company and general ledger application independent and maximum length 4, because in the sheet the length is given as a 4 it is given for company, so it's taken 4. So if you notice account we given display width as a 5. It's nothing but the maximum length. Here we look at account value set. Just change. First system takes segment name, then it will suffix with the name which we include in the sheet. Now you can modify it. If you want to modify, you can modify it. Just click on search. Just click on edit. So here the same maximum length it taken 5. So this is how just you can create, system will create the value sets automatically. Done. We verify in the same way. You can just check for other segments also. You could see the value sets which are created by system. So department. Okay. Done. Fine. What is the next step? Okay, that's how you can verify the value sets, how system is creating with the combination of name and segment. The format wise it is taking segment name first, then name as a suffix. Now we'll go and verify the chart of accounts are created by system or not. So chart of account system will create with the name which we given in the spreadsheet. So what name we given? So we given the name as ERP3 INC. We'll go and check it. To check that, we have to go to chart of accounts structure instance, chart of accounts structures. Okay, this is a task we can use. Just click on manage chart of account structures. So flex field is accounting key flex field. You don't need to write complete name. So here go to manage structures to find the structure which is created by system by using the name called as ERP3 INC. So here you can search with ERP3 INC. Click on search. Click on edit. Fine. See here in the template we given the name as ERP3 INC. this name system uses for chart of accounts, calendars, ledgers, even the same name it will include in the value set. That is the reason we cannot write this name exactly. So chart of ERP tree INC accounting flex field. If you write like that, it will be applicable for all the names. So that is the reason the key name you have to write. So one system will create, you may modify it to have a meaningful naming. So ERP tree INC accounting flex field. So that further when you use this definition in the setup process, the same way you can see it. Just you can save this, and here you can notice 4 segment system created. The reason we have 4 segments in the sheet. Okay, and you can notice how the segments are created. So you can select company segment, click on edit. So it assigned primary balancing segment to company segment. Okay, primary balancing segment to company segment. So the same we specified in the sheet. The primary balancing segment label is assigned to company. So that's how we have the information in the sheet. The same system is performed as a task. The same way you can verify other segments also. You may check account segment, click on edit. So natural account label is assigned to account. The reason is we have the specification in the sheet. For department, we just given the cost center segment label. That also you can verify. For department, you can select, click on edit. Cost center segment label is assigned to department. So this is how the system creates chart of account structure, segments, label assignments. Just click on done. The next step, when we do the manual definition, what we do, next step we have to create the instance against the chart of account structure. The same you could see here as a system created. Go to manage structure instances, and here you can just search with the same term ERP tree INC. ERP tree INC. Just click on edit. So you could see by selecting the structure, system created segments that is associated value sets, and it's marked as required. Okay, so we don't need to enable this dynamic combination creation is allowed. So basically in EBS case, by default it's a disabled, but you don't see as a by default it is enabled mode. So we have to enable, but here since it's a chart of account structure instance, so we definitely we create to use those segment values to create the code combinations as a mandatory. So it's by default it is enabled. After creating certain code combinations, you may disable it if you want to prevent the users not to enter new code combinations. Fine. So system created instance also. What is the next point we have to verify? Done. So deployment also system performed, but now we are just checking all the information. That is the reason again it is marked deployment status as edited. Before we just gone through these structures and the instances, the status was deployed only. Now we navigated and all, it is taken the point as something might be modified. So that's the reason it's marked as a edited. Now again you can submit for deployment. If you don't go and verify, if you don't check all these points, whatever the system updated status you could see as a deployed. Fine. Anyway, it will take some time for the deployment. So meantime, we'll just go with that process. When it takes some time. So meantime, just the next sheet which we have to upload is financials common entities. Financials common entities. When you submit this sheet, please.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
In the R12, we have two steps. One, compiling the flex field and freezing the flex field, right?
Yeah, first
The cloud, they did
we
not
freeze and
have
we
the concept
compile.
of freezing, right?
Yeah, here we don't have any freeze. First we freeze. After freezing, system will prompt us to compile, or else it will become mandatory. Once you save, it will compile. We have to freeze. After freezing only we can compile. Without freezing we cannot compile. But here there is no freeze option because it's not specific to your structure. It's for entire flex field.
Okay,
There is
thank you.
difference, right? There we just freeze specific chart of account structure and we compile it. But here we are not
Correct.
doing it for specific, we are doing for entire flex field level. Okay, that could be the reason why they didn't give that freeze option. Fine. So before system will perform that deployment, we'll talk about this. If you go and submit this financial common entities sheet to the system, what it will perform, what it will do.
Sorry to ask this question.
Yeah, please.
Probably you might explain.
Please.
Do you need to deploy the structure as well as the structure instance too?
Structure
Both?
and structure instance. See, the structure and the structure instance both are in the flex field itself, accounting flex field. Okay, so you don't need to do it separately. You have to deploy the flex field only. Just you have to deploy the flex field, accounting flex field, so that the structure and the instance both system will deploy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw the instance status as deployed. So
It's not instant status. See, that is the status of this accounting flex field. The accounting flex field status is deployed or edited, you may see. Okay, see here.
once you showed this, you've gone to the structure instance, and the structure instance
See here.
status is deployed. So I was looking at that. So.
See what we are deploying? Deploy flex field, not deploy
Oh, got it.
or deploy structure instance. Deploy flex field. Within that flex field, how many structures instances you have, everything system will submit for validation. If any issue with at least one structure or one instance also, the entire accounting flex field cannot be deployed. You have to go and correct those information or errors, then only that entire accounting flex field can be deployed. It is not possible to deploy specific structure or instance. Flex field level only you can deploy. Yep. Fine. It's done. Now we'll go and submit this ledgers, legal entities, business unit definition. After submitting, we'll discuss that we'll perform which activities and all. So now we have to go to just Rapid, search for Rapid, and task list name is common financial configuration for Rapid implementation. So here is the task. The task name is upload ledger, legal entities and business units. So naming convention they given, just name they given ledger, legal entity and business unit. If you want to create the ledger, what we require? We require accounting calendar also. That means, so upload ledger means the prerequisites. The accounting calendar also system will create automatically. Reason, within the sheet we given required information for primary accounting calendar definition. This information is required for accounting calendar. System will create accounting calendar. Anyway, all currencies are by default enabled, and some reason those are not enabled in the environment. We have to cross check and we have to keep it as enabled so that system will pick that currency to enable. Maybe intentionally somebody may disable it just for maybe for testing, so for some other reason. So before you go and submit this sheet, you have to verify currency is enabled or not. That point we have to definitely check. Okay, but by default all currencies are enabled. Those points we discussed in the very beginning of the classes, right? Fine. So this is a task we have to use to submit, to upload the sheet. So upload ledger, legal entities and business units. Just click on this and click on browse, and here is the file. Financials common entities. Yes, The ledger, legal entities, and business units are common entities which are required across all the applications to perform any business transactions, right? So select it and submit. Now what this sheet will do now? Okay, what definitions it will create in the instance? We'll go and see. So what it will do, in which sequence it will do all those setups. What sequence we follow, the same sequence it will create. So first it will create accounting calendar. And currency, no need to do it. And when you submit this sheet, by the time your chart of account should be ready. If you submit this sheet, this file first, it will fail. It will fail to find the chart of accounts. So that is the reason first we have to submit the chart of accounts file only. As a second step, we have to submit this financial common entities. Okay, entities file. Okay, first it will create the accounting calendar based on the spreadsheet information, this information. The next step, what it will do? What we do manually, the same it will do. The next step is it will create primary ledger. After that, what it will do, it will specify ledger options. The next step, it will create legal address, because against the legal entity we given the legal address. Then it will create legal entity, and it will assign legal entity to your primary ledger. All we do through manual process, right? When you do manually the setups, whatever the process we follow, the sequence, the same system will follow. Then it will assign balancing segment values. Say assign balancing segment values to legal entity. After completing this balancing segment values assignment to legal entity, it will submit this ledger for review and do the accounting configuration submission. It will submit. It will submit for to complete this. Say system will submit the task called as review and do submit accounting configuration. Sorry. What is the purpose of this? To complete the primary ledger definition, as well as once manually we submit this task called as review and submit accounting configuration. What system will do? System will validate entire primary ledger, all the associations, and this information, okay, system will submit to space. System transfers primary ledger definition to a space database, and that information will be available. It will move to a space. All that calendar related periods, our ledger currency, and the chart of account segments, all the information will be maintained in the space database as a multi-dimensional cubes. So once this primary ledger is done, once it creates, what it will do is it will create business unit. After that, it will assign all business unit business functions to BU. Okay, we have business unit business functions, right? All the business unit business functions it will assign to BU by default. So when we do this task manually, we can go and assign specific functions. So you are doing the implementation for your client and you don't require all the business functions, but that's how Oracle programmed. It will assign all. So which you don't require, after that manually you have to go and disable it. That's it. So as a part of the same, all assigning the business functions to BU, what system will do is, system normally when we do this task, we assign our primary ledger to BU, right? that would be done by system. System assigns our primary ledger and the default LE to BU. So these all setups will be performed by this sheet, this file, the data which is available in this file. So based on that file, so these are the sequence of tasks system will perform. And apart from that, based on the account type which you are specifying in the sheet. So here, if you go with the natural accounts, the account type you have is specifications, right? One second, that information you can see. Yeah. So here return earnings. If you just provide owner's equity, just it will create the value and it will set this value attribute as owner's equity. Along with that, if you select owner's equity return earnings, then system will understand this account. By taking this account, it will set return earnings account code combination in the respective field in the ledger level. The same way other accounts also, liability account and receivables accounts, okay, for few other accounts also. So whatever the information you are providing, if you provide accordingly, it will just set, it will take those accounts as a default. Okay, so but that is not mandatory, not required. Make sure that you are giving the return earnings account as a owner's equity return earnings as a account type to automatically set that account as a default account in ledger options for our ledger. Done. So we'll verify the status first. Still it is running. So it may take a couple of minutes. See here what it is doing. We submitted this job and complete accounting configuration. That means this is when a system run this process, whenever you submit, review and submit accounting configuration, then system will submit this task and complete accounting configuration load chart of accounts values. Load chart of account values means all our chart of account values, it is loading into a space and it is creating the balance cubes in a space. So system is running this process. It may take a couple of minutes time. Meantime, any questions from anyone, please? So if you miss something from previous classes, my first request is you can just play back those sessions because I'm sharing the videos on the same day. So the video, last session video I shared in the last week itself. So if you have a time, please go through it. So if you think something you are missing in the previous session, that you can get ready. On top of it, if you have any questions, you can raise those in the next session. I mean to say, if you've gone through that previous session, now you can ask the questions.
Hi, Lakshman.
Normally, in the value sets, we have independent value set, dependent, and sometimes we use SQL. So is that provision in Fusion is there?
Yeah, we have that. We have that. We can use it. You can use that. You have all those validation type.
Okay.
Lakshman, last Friday, video, could you please share today along with the today video?
I just placed in on screen.
No, I didn't. You placed in G-Drive?
Same, yes. Google.
Friday's one.
Yes. On the same day I placed in the Google, including the sheet also.
Okay, I'll check it.
You know what happens? Every day you don't get email from us. Whatever the drive access we given, all the time you can go to that drive and you can find that what are the new videos we are placing into the drive. That's how it works. So no email you will be receiving for everyday session video and the Google Access link. So one time we'll share the same, you can access every time. So whenever we complete the class, we'll be placing that video in the same drive. It will sync and it will be available for our access since we have a entire drive access. And my request is please don't remove and don't rename, okay, for the drive folder name or any videos names, etc. because that is commonly shared. Fine. Still it is running. Any questions meantime from anyone, please? Because it has to create many definitions, right? As we discussed, it's all activities it has to perform. Okay, not in one go, in sequence, one by one. First it has to create. Once it is ready, then only it can start with the activity called as primary ledger creation. Once primary ledger is done, then only system can route to the next step called as specifying the ledger options. One by one in the sequence, so it has to perform. So it has to wait for a dependency task completion. That is the reason it takes time when you submit this. It won't take much time, hardly 5 to 10 minutes normally.
Lakshman, I have a question in value set values.
Yes.
While creating values in the value sets, not through rapid implementation, I think we don't have the parent enable checkbox, right?
Summary is nothing but parent. If you set summary as yes, that is a parent. If that is a summary as a parent, how to create the child values? To create the child values, we have a separate task.
Okay.
Account hierarchies. There is a task called as manage account hierarchies. As a part of GL, I'll take you through that.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, when you submit this through rapid implementation, it will create those hierarchies automatically.
Okay. But we don't have directly like in R12, right?
R12 in the sense. Oh no. Okay. You are comparing with the EBS R12. Yes.
Yeah. EBS.
You enable parent immediately. It will enable the tab called as assign child values, right?
Correct.
The same form. Then you can go to the tab and you can select child values.
Correct.
Or other
we can assign the values from and to.
Yeah, you can do all those in the same form, but not here. That option is they are not giving. Here it's all about making some value as a parent, then creating that relevant relationship with the child values in the different page.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, fine. So we're done with this. So the status is succeeded. Here hierarchies and all, some value may be wrong. That is the reason it is throwing some warning message, but we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so fine. So now we'll go and verify all these definitions are completed by system or not. First we'll go and verify accounting calendar is created by system or not.
Lakshman,
So, yeah, please.
what is the prerequisite before starting rapid implementation? If I just created implementation user, that is enough?
Yeah, implementation user and you just load the Nokia data. That's all.
Okay.
That's all. No other other definition need to be done. Just have a user and just go and load Nokia data. Then that would be enough. Why Nokia data is required? Here we are creating the address for legal entity, right? So for that purpose.
Okay.
If legal entity's definition is not there, you don't need to load the Nokia data. After completing this, we can do it. Since we got some dependency, yes, we have to do it. Fine. We'll go and check accounting calendar is created by system or not. Accounting calendar. Search for accounting calendar. If you notice, we don't have any projects so far in this environment. We didn't create, but we completed all the setups. One second. Directly you can go with the task. Manage accounting calendar. System will create accounting calendar with which name? It will create the name with this name. ERP3 INC. Search for ERP3 INC. Directly use enter key from the keyboard. It will fetch. So what system will do is by default it will create the accounting calendar for 2 years. When you create the accounting calendar through rapid implementation spreadsheet, by default it creates the accounting calendar for 2 years. Here you could notice it's created for 2 years, 2018 and 2019. For these 2 years it created. If you want to see those all the periods which system created, click on all, select all. It will display all the periods which are created in this calendar. created accounting calendar. So below 2018 periods from Jan to December. You can scroll a little down, you could see all Jan to December. And we given the specification as one adjusting period, right, in the sheet. So one set year end. This is a adjusting period rule we selected. Accordingly, it created one set end of the year. It is created adjusting periods marked as adjusting. And it's 18 periods and 19 periods also you can see. By default, it creates for 2 years. After 2 years, if you want to add the periods, you know very well. Just click on add year. It will add 2020 periods automatically. Okay. So this is how system will create the accounting calendar. You may change the name. You may just edit it. Accounting. It's for USA. You may just do the modifications, whatever you want to do it. Okay, when you say INC, it says US only, right? Okay, done. That's how system will create accounting calendar. Fine. Next point. The next point, what it will do? It will create the primary ledger. How it will create the primary ledger? It will create the primary ledger. So here we'll go with this RapidImplementation sheet. It will take this name, okay, and it will identify the primary ledger. It is created for which country, the country name. It will take the country name also US. We'll go and see that how it is created. So search for task called as directly same primary ledger, primary ledgers. So task name is manage primary ledgers. We are just verifying, so we are not creating. So that's the reason we are not using the project. Here you can search for ERP3 INC. So it will give the country specification. Just click on enter, press enter from the keyboard. You could see the name ERP3 INC US. Okay, created as a ERP3 INC US. Done. And you could see its status is confirmed. In the sequence of activities, it is submitted for review and submit accounting configuration task, and the status is confirmed. Created primary ledger. What you could do is you can change the name. Can you change the name from here? No, only from ledger options you can change it. So once system create the primary ledger, what next step it will perform? It will set the ledger options. So ledger options you cannot set from here, right? Specify ledger options. If you click on specify ledger option, system is not going to ask you to set the ledger options for which ledger. It won't ask us. It will just go to random ledger which is created in the past. So it's not our ledger. We cannot switch to our ledger. So that is the reason. So this we cannot set from here. That you can do from the project. If not from project, if you have a plan of defining the project after some time, temporarily what you could do is when you are in the screen, you can go to financials, but it's always recommended to create the project and to do this kind of configuration or any setups. From here you can search for, you selected offering called as financials. So within the financials only you can find the specify ledger options. Specify ledger options. Search. Both are same, just with the different paths. Click on any one of the ledger options. It will open the scope selection. Here specify ledger options system is showing. Scope also is getting displayed. Normally if you are in the project you can see the scope. But here from this page you have option to select the ledger with the scope. Select your ledger. For which ledger you want to verify the ledger options. Select this value, select and add, click on apply and go to task. Find your ledger. Ledger name is ERP3 INC US. Search. click on save and close. Now it will take us to ledger options. There you could see retained earnings account already configured by system only. Retained earnings account system is did setup 31010. Why? How system taken this retained earnings code combination here? The reason is within the spreadsheet, the accounts what we have here, for that this specification is given. This is marked as a owner's equity retained earnings. Okay. If you give any other value as a owner's equity retained earnings, that value only it will take into code combination. Okay, but it will make sure that the account type is owner's equity account. So since you given this additional specification are not just giving retained earnings, okay, owner's equity retained earnings, based on this specification, system will understand and it will just take this account into retained earnings specify ledger options field. Retained earnings field 31010. The same it is taken here, and rest of code combination to take the first values what you have. Whatever company, department, and it's a project value, it will take the first values. It doesn't make any difference any value take, only the primarily here you have to specify your retained earnings account which you are using for your companies. So like system has a capability of calculating retained earnings balance segment value wise depending on the transaction which you process. Right, done. And if you want to change your ledger name, yes, you have to change it. Definitely you have to change once you create these definitions by using the rapid implementation spreadsheet, because there we give a very common name, right? Here we give very common name which can be used for all these definitions. But once it's done, so we have to address that as a primary ledger. For that reason, so you have to go to the ledger options and you have to set the name as USA primary ledger. This is how you have to update. You may write as a description also. Now say save and close. Done. But it's recommended to create the project and to perform all these activities. So before we go and verify other information, better we'll go and create the project, which is a very simple task. Everything will verify from our project, so that everything will be tagged into scope. Say create project. So without creating project, we just loaded all the information. Here you can give the name as RP3 INC implementation project. Say next to choose offerings and options. So financials offering is enough for us. Select. It will open all the options which are available within the financials offering. Select options which we required. Supplier invoicing, invoice processing, nothing but payables. Expense is I expense in EBS in the same fusion expense. It's equal to I expense in EBS. In the fusion expense we are calling as fusion expense since we are using the fusion environment. So customer invoicing, invoice processing is nothing but receivables module, revenue management, and before that collections, advanced collection module, and revenue management separate module, revenue management cloud services. Okay, revenue management cloud services separate module, and the rest what you require and what you are going to implement accordingly you can pick. You can include all these into your project definition. Accordingly, system will generate the tasks so that you can perform the relevant configuration and you can implement it. So now you can say save and open project. We know this how to create the project. These points we discussed. Hope everybody practiced also. So just be done with this. Now anything you are going to verify that we can do from our project only instead of just trying from the different ways. Fine, anyway, system will create and it will keep this project ready. So before that, just meantime we'll go and verify. So here system what it will do, it will create the legal address and it will create the legal entity. Directly we'll go and see the legal entity. So or else you can go to legal addresses task and where you can verify also, that is not required. Directly we'll go to the legal entity and we'll verify that. So system created. So search for legal entity. There will be a task called as manage legal entities. So click on this task. So click on go to task icon. Select value called as select and add. We are going to find the legal entity which system created already. And one more point, notice here. See, because when you start working, you'll just come across this. You need this understanding when you are working. So I'm clicking on go to task icon against manage legal entity. Here by default, system is selected manage legal entity, right? Manage legal entity. Here I'm selecting the value called as select and add. But normally when you do through manual process, you have to select create new and you have to say apply and go to task. Then only system will allow us to create. But now we are not creating, already system created that, we want to find it. So say select and add. You can find it. Just click on apply and go to task. Just notice this point. And here you can notice here are the legal entities are available. Okay, we'll go and find our legal entity. Go to search option, expand it. Our legal entity name is ERP3 INC. Search. So legal entity is there. You want to edit the name. Legal entity name you want to edit. Select it. You cannot see any edit option. The reason is when you are landing in this page, you select a system selected by default radio option called as manage legal entity. With a manage legal entity, you can, by selecting this information, you can review the legal entity with a view only permission, or else you can create it. But if you have a requirement of editing the legal entity, any point of time after creating or after system creating, you have to go with this first option. Search legal entity. This will allow you to edit the legal entity. Search legal entity, and this is a value you can accept. Say apply and go to task. Here system will enable edit option. Notice these points. So find your legal entity. So our legal entity name which system created is ERP3 IMC. Search, and here you could see edit option. If at all you want to change the name, change it. Generally when we do with the rapid implementation approach, if when you create the legal entity, normally we edit it. Okay, so here we can there will be need of editing, but here in the sheet itself we given the exact name, right? Because it's not taken from the common name. So this is how USA legal entity, whatever we given it is taken, but wherever that modification is required, since we given the common name, you have to do it. If you want to do any changes, we can do from here. The edit option would be available from here. See, system selected this both. You should select also when you create. Done. So system created. The next task, what generally we do, we assign the legal entity to primary ledger. That should be done by system. Now we'll go and verify. So here, assign legal entries. Task is assign legal entities. Assign legal entities. Assign legal entities. Just click on go to task icon. So you want to verify to which legal entity, we want to verify whether legal entity is assigned to our ledger or not. So select your ledger so you can go and verify. You want to check which primary ledger related legal entity assignment. ERP3 INC USA primary ledger. Whether legal entity is assigned by system or not, you want to verify, right? You select and say okay. You can see whether legal entity is assigned or not. This is our primary ledger. We didn't assign, system assigned. This legal entity system assigned to this. If you want to assign one more legal entity to this primary ledger, from here you can do it. That's what we did when we were doing manual configuration, right? From here you can assign one more legal entity to this primary ledger. Anyway, the system assigned our legal entity to our ledger. We are not modifying. just to understand this warning. Fine. So what is the next task we perform and the system performed already? Assign balance and segment values to legal entity. We'll go and verify system is assigned or not. Assign balance and segment values to legal entities. So system assigned, we have only 3 balance and segment values in our company value set, which is balance and segment related value set. The 3 balance and segment values are assigned to this legal entity. That means those 3 values are available in this company's value set. Company's ERP3 INC. This is a value set system created. Within this, how many value set companies BSVs we have, those got assigned to legal entity. Normally manual process we do it. System create and this as a part of this rapid implementation. The next, system will review and submit accounting configuration. That already we have seen when we navigated to the primary ledger, whether system created or not, we verified the status was confirmed. That means this task also system completed. And it will transfer that total information from Oracle database to S-based database. It's all about primary ledger definition. So along with that, system will create the business unit. We'll go and verify whether system created business unit or not. Say manage, or directly you can search for business units. Manage business unit. Sorry. Okay. Just click on manage business unit. Don't search as a business units. Task name they're given as just a unit. Click on go to task icon. So what name we given for our business unit in the rapid implementation sheet? ERP3 INC US business unit. ERP3 INC. Search. You can click on this search tab, or else from the keyboard all the time you can use enter. So our BU also created a system with the help of rapid implementation data, and here select our BU, just click on edit so that you can look at the definition, how it created, what reference data set is taken. See here, name it is taken, default set taken common, and location it is not selected. So if no location is not selected, there are certain concepts which doesn't work in the environment. Primarily when you work on fusion expense reports cannot be converted as a invoices if no location is associated with the business unit. Okay, in the same way you cannot create the automatic receipts in receivables. Again, you cannot perform customer refunds if business unit location is not associated with the business unit. When you say business unit, definitely that refers to specific physical location. So that location you have to select in the rapid implementation process. So system won't create location, it won't associate. So you have to, once you're done with that, you create location and assign. You know how to create the location, right? We know very well. So I'm not going to create it. I'm assigning, okay, one of the existing location, Redwood City. So say save and close. Now what next step normally we do the same system done is assigning all business unit business functions to BU. When we do the implementation, so what is the scope the BU got for the respective business function? Accordingly, we have to assign the business functions to those BUs, right? So, but here system assigns all the business functions to our BU, and as well as it assigns primary ledger and BU to the same, the primary ledger LEs to the same BU. We'll go and verify whether the system performed this task or not. So go to assign business unit business functions. We are just going to verify. We are not going to do it, right? So we want to verify for our business unit the business functions are assigned or not. To find our business unit, first you navigate this. Our BU name is your P3 INC search. Okay, don't click on the name, it will open the definition. You just select here by placing the cursor here, click, or you can click on the entire record other than the name. Select, then say save and close. Now you can see as system is assigned all the business functions to our BU by default as a part of rapid implementation process. So if you are not going to implement a specific business function, you have to deselect. Okay, if you don't deselect, nothing will happen. It will allow the users, it will allow the consultant to do the setups for any business function. If you want to set a control on that, you may disable it. And it assigned our primary ledger and our legal entity to our BU. That's all. You can see here as what system did. So these are all you can handle with this rapid implementation sheet, which primarily we use for all the projects. Any project we use this rapid implementation sheet. The rest of sheets which are available for module specific, you may use, may not use. If you see the volume of the data is very high to set up manually, you may use those sheets. So you can find all the sheets here by searching with the term called as rapid, and I think in the last session we have seen that for which module wise we have a sheet, so you can go through it and you may just try on those. Same process is applicable, same process. Download the sheet, fill with the data, convert it into files, and just upload one by one. When we have a multiple files, you have to understand the sequence also. What are the sequence we follow to do the setup? Same sequence we have to follow to load the data into sheet. But primarily this sheet we use for all the implementation. Whatever the implementation we do, we go with this sheet approach only for this common data at least. Okay, so this is what we have to understand about rapid implementation sheet. Any questions on this, please? Any data sheet related questions or any like the definitions which we did? How
Lakshman, where do we see accounts we have loaded?
Accounts.
So all the accounts we have loaded.
The account values. So where we can see value, go to value sets.
Okay.
Chart of accounts, value sets. So you can go from here or else from project. Value sets. What is our value set name? System created. Account ERP tree INC, right? This is our system created value set. So it will load all the values into value set only. Here click on manage values. Click on search. You can see all the values which you could see in the sheet. If you go to rapid implementation, these are the accounts we have, all these accounts. All you can see now in the value set.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So it is setting. See here by default it is setting for all allow posting, allow budgeting, yes. And if you notice this 1400, this is set summary as a yes. Summary as a yes. That is the reason for that it is setting. One second. It is setting allow budgeting, allow posting as a no because it's a parent.
Yeah.
1400 total inventory. You could see in the sheet it is maintained under and parent level. You can search for 1400. It is coming under parent. I think parent 3 level. Yes. For 1 or 2 or 3, all are parents. So hierarchy. That's how it will do. So where this hierarchical information we can find when we are working on GL, I'll take you through that. So where you can see the hierarchy and how that specification, how you can include some additional child value under that parent. Now we mentioned specified here, so we specified, for example, in the sheet we have information like that. So we have a like parent 2, and say these are the cash accounts we have. So you are going to have one more cash account for say HDFC Bank. You are going to have one more HDFC Bank cash clearing account. So because these all are under this parent. So how to add, how to move this account under this parent value, and that you could see in the account hierarchies. When you are dealing with a general ledger application, we'll see that. Now it's only the primary focus is ledger definition and all. So at the time, just I'll take you through those account hierarchies. So meantime, if you want to verify, you can check it. The task name is account hierarchies. You can search for task called as account hierarchies. There you can see the hierarchies of system created for each and every segment wise. In the segment, what are the values we have, the hierarchy which we mentioned in the spreadsheet, accordingly it will create the hierarchies. So this is all about the rapid implementation spreadsheet which you have to use for your practice. I'll be placing the same file in the Google Drive also, but when you are loading, don't use the same sheet, so it will become duplication, it will fail. So if you want to use the same sheet, whatever the points we discussed to change, update, those you change, you can load the same sheet multiple times by changing the name, okay, in the same instance. Okay, and any questions on this, please? And before you start with that, please, you can go through that instructions. The first tab talks about the instructions, what we should aware when we are dealing with the tab in this sheet. Okay, please go through that instructions one time, so that you will become expert in terms of using this sheet. Yeah.
Lakshman, in the instruction tab, what are the possibility of uploading the information for rapid implementation document, whatever we are doing? They listed out what are the things can be possible. Yeah. Other than what you explained.
Yeah, it talks about what rules you have to follow, how system will understand this sheet. Okay, I just given on point. If you don't give currency, then what system will do? It will look at what are the legal entities we have, how many countries legal entities we have. With those countries legal entities, those many primary ledgers it will create. These are all points you can see within that. You read it once. So still any clarification required, we'll discuss, because that is predefined set of information which is given by Oracle as instructions. Okay, just go through it. Any questions, we'll discuss. But this is the point. This is how this process works. Okay, downloading, preparing the data, converting files, loading. When you load, what system will do? This is what system will do. That's what just we executed and we discussed. We could see the results also. Now everything's ready. From here, what are the setups we did? You can proceed. So that means our primary ledger business unit is ready. Once those are ready, what we'll do normally, if you are going to have this approach, so here we can location and all these are ready. From here you can proceed with the other definitions. LDZ definition, assigning to legal entity. So all these you can go one by one. Whatever we covered through manual process, these you can execute. So once you prepare the sheet, you can keep that sheet with you in future when instances get refreshed. Okay, so simply you can submit these two files directly. No need to prepare once again, right? So whenever you find the instance is refreshed, what you have to do? Submit this file, and it may take 5 minutes time, 5 minutes max. And after that, submit this file. Once you see that confirmation as this file related jobs are completed with the status of succeeded, you can submit this. It may take 10 minutes to 15 minutes time, depends. Okay, so after that you can continue with the setups from here, right? From here you can start with this your configuration. That's how you can keep the specific the tables and other setups ready. And you have to create all the setups you have here. The same sequence you can follow. You don't need to start from scratch. For the very fundamental setups, common setups, you can keep this sheet ready for your practice also. You can use it. I'll be placing this same sheet in the Google Drive, and when you are going to practice, change the names and try. Any questions from anyone, please? Fine, no questions. If no questions, we can wind up for today, and I'll be available just for 10 more minutes in the meeting. We'll discuss if you have any questions. Okay, that's all for today. Have a good day and good night. Thank you all.